Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be discussing with you the end of the year numbers in my makeup inventory. Now I know some of the categories in my collection have gone down and some have gone down significantly, but some of them might have increased. I didn't really go through and look at all the numbers yet, but I am very excited to. In the beginning of the year, I was inspired by Jacqueline Levine to sit down and make an Excel spreadsheet of all the products that I have in every single category, every single shade that I have, all of the worth. If something was in a face palette, sometimes I calculated what something was worth in terms of the face palette or in terms of what the actual full size was. And so I sat down and I broke everything down. And I am very proud of myself for actually sitting down and doing all of that work. But I don't think I'm going to be keeping up to date with all of the numbers and how much money spent and how much money is worth in my entire collection anymore. Maybe products, I'll sit down and say, these are all the lipsticks that I have, these are all the colors and the shades that I have and different finishes and stuff. But for me personally, I don't think it's worth sitting down and calculating all of the numbers and all of the cents and trying to research and all of the stuff. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you everything that I have in my collection, all the different categories and things. I'm going to be telling you the number that I had and that I calculated in the beginning of the year, tell you if it went down or if it went up since then. One thing that I forgot to mention though, I'm not going to be including any of the products or the makeup items that I received during Christmas or with Christmas money. I just wanted to see how much progress that I made out of everything that I've had since the beginning of the year, or if I purchased things throughout the year, where I ended up at the end of the year. So when I talk about my makeup inventory of 2018, I'm going to include all of those products as well. To get more of the boring stuff out of the way before I talk about makeup items, I'm going to first talk about my body lotions. As you can see, I currently have 4, including 2 smaller sizes of the Stress Relief and the Our Moment fragrances. And in the beginning of the year, I had a total of 9 body lotions, including smaller sizes of body lotions, which I think is a really good progress number, especially since it's basically more than half of what I had in the beginning of the year. So in the beginning of the year, I had a total of 11 body sprays, body mists, perfumes in my collection, and I currently have 4. That total of 11 body mists and perfumes also included smaller sizes and deluxe sizes, as well as that rollerball in the scent Our Moment. In the beginning of the year, I actually had 3 foundations, so I went from having 3 foundations to 1 foundation, and the 3 foundations that I had in the beginning of the year is actually different than the one that I ended up with at the end of the year, which is actually really amazing. Next category I'm going to be talking to you guys about are powders. In the beginning of the year, I had 3 powders, 2 from Wet n Wild, 1 from NYX, and I'm ending the year off with a Coty Airspun loose face powder. The fact that I used up 3 powders throughout the course of the year and I'm left with 1 powder that is different from everything that I started out with in the beginning of the year is really pleasing to me. It means that they are being used up as soon as I buy them, which feels really good. As far as bronzers and contours are concerned, in the beginning of the year, I had a total of 5 bronzer pans. 3 of them came from the e.l.f. bronzer palette, and that I used up one of the shades that I really wanted to, and I passed it on to a friend whose skin tone more suited the darker colors in that bronzer palette, and I am left with Amaretto from Becca. This is actually one of their blushes, but it is so deep and it's kind of a brownish pink that I actually can use it as a bronzer or some kind of contour if I wanted to. And I have Hoola bronzer right here. So since I decluttered and used up a couple shades in the e.l.f. bronzer palette, I went from having 4 or 5 bronzer pans to having this 1 Amaretto shade right here and Hoola bronzer. And these are all of my highlighters, and I know that this category has increased drastically since the beginning of the year. In the beginning of the year, I had 4 highlighter pans. I included these 2 in the Becca and Jaclyn Hill face palette. This is Champagne Pop This is Prosecco Pop. In the beginning of the year, I also had this Jeffree Star highlighter in the shade Peach Goddess and this Balm Cosmetics Mary Luminizer. Since then, I have accumulated this Skin Frost from Jeffree Star in the shade Eclipse. Ooh, that was the Manny MUA collaboration with his brand. This is the Makeup Geek highlighter, duochrome highlighter in the shade Moon Phase. And I've also brought in the Kat Von D Alchemist holographic palette. So if I want to tally up each pan in here individually, I have gained 6 pans of highlighters since then, so which brings me up to a total of 10 highlighters. In the entirety of this year, I hit pan on 4 highlighters. I hit pan on Peach Goddess from Jeffree Star, I hit pan on Mary Luminizer, I hit pan on Prosecco Pop, and I recently hit pan on the duochrome highlighter from Makeup Geek. So it is not like all of these highlighters go to waste in my collection. I definitely use them a lot, and each of them have a purpose in my collection. And I know that the number went up by 6 technically, but I do really enjoy all of the things that I have. In the beginning of the year, I had 2 eyebrow products. One was a powder palette from Maybelline, and the other is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I still have the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. This is what it currently looks like. I'm basically halfway done with this product, and it's getting really dry on me. This is a little over 2 years old. I got it in November of my senior year, and so this is definitely getting up there with age. So if it gets really too dry for me, I think I'm going to declutter it or, get rid of this somehow. As for cream shadows, in the beginning of the year, I had 4, and I currently have 3. The one that I decluttered was a purple color tattoo from Maybelline. I did that kind of recently. And the one that is basically on its way out is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. I technically really could have used this up completely by now, but I wanted to save this to film a couple videos before I had to go out and repurchase some kind of white base, which I think I'm going to end up doing because there's no way I can film all those videos that I want to just surviving by this alone. So this is going to be on its way out very soon. I won't be surprised if by the time I film my 2018 makeup inventory, this is gone, but I have these 2 color tattoos still remaining. This one is in the shade Creamy Beige, and this one is in the shade Barely Branded. These 2 I am going to be using in conjunction with the Too Faced I'm a Sweet Chocolate Bar palette, which is my Pan That palette this year, so I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this guy, and I think I'll be able to completely use that up by the end of the year. As for eyeshadow primers, I had 1 at the beginning of the year, and I currently have 1. I'm pretty okay with only having 1 in my collection, so as long as this number doesn't go up by much, I'll be completely fine with that. These are all of my single eyeshadows. I classify all of my Makeup Geek eyeshadows as singles and not as a palette because I did buy them individually. Even though I'm storing them in a palette alongside of each other, I did buy them as single shadows. They were intended to be single eyeshadows that you can create your own palette or your own looks with them. In the beginning of the year, I had 3 eyeshadow singles. Now, as of my mid-year update of my makeup inventory, I decluttered 2 single eyeshadows, but I actually purchased these 6 Makeup Geek eyeshadows, and that's why I'm classifying them as single eyeshadows. And since then, I have depotted these 2 shades down here from the Morphe and Kathleen Lights eyeshadow palette. I decluttered that whole entire palette, and the only shades that I wanted to keep from there were these 2 green shades. So technically, I have 9 single shadows in my collection. As far as eyeshadow palettes are concerned, in the beginning of the year, I had 5 eyeshadow palettes, and I currently have 3. So technically, I downsized my palette collection by 2 palettes. However, the 2 palettes that stay with me since the beginning of the year is my Makeup Geek and Manny MUA palette, as well as the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. Since the beginning of the year, I acquired this 8-pan Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette, which I may or may not declutter very soon, but that's besides the point. So I currently have 3 palettes, and in the beginning of the year, I had 5. Alright, you guys, I'm going to be talking about mascara and eyeliner at the same time because they're both kind of boring and they both kind of stay the same. So, in the mascara category, I had 1 at the beginning of the year, and I currently only have 1. Obviously, it's not the same one, but throughout this year, I basically have only had 1, or 1 singular one, or I had 2, and 1 was a backup because I was getting close to the 3-month mark on a certain mascara. So this is the only one that I have in my collection. I'm very happy with only having just one mascara, and if any of you guys are curious of which one I'm currently using, it is the Lengthening and Volumizing Mascara from e.l.f. and I really, really, really love this. As for eyeliners, I had a total of 6 in the beginning of the year, and I have used up or decluttered a total of 3 since the beginning of the year. Kind of towards the beginning of the year, I used up a tattoo liner in Trooper by Kat Von D. So this is actually a new one. This is one that I purchased recently. Not recently, I got it in August, but this is a new one. And then the other 2 eyeliners that have been with me since the beginning of the year are these 2, what are they called? Smudge stick eyeliners by Stila. The blue one is in Cobalt and the purple one is in Violet. So these 3 are the 3 eyeliners in my collection, and I'm very happy with having these 3. In the makeup inventory spreadsheet that I have, I organized everything by bullet lipstick, a liquid to matte lipstick, or just liquefied lipsticks. So I think that's how I'm going to portray it to you guys in this video as well. So in the beginning of the year, I had a total of 12 bullet lipsticks that included a Bite holiday lip set that I got for Christmas, a NYX lipstick set that I got for Christmas, the Marc Jacobs Kiss Kiss Bang Bang birthday lipstick, as well as NARS birthday lipsticks that I had. So since the beginning of the year, I have decluttered or used up a total of 9 lipsticks, which is absolutely insane to think that I have 1/4 of the collection that I had in the beginning of the year. Here's a new category that I didn't have at the beginning of the year. It is a lip liner. This lip liner was actually gifted to me by my brother's girlfriend. I think if it wasn't gifted to me though, I definitely would not have purchased it. So I'm going to have to play around with it a lot in the summer since this is a more summery shade and see if I actually like it or not. But if I don't like it, I will definitely declutter it. In the beginning of the year, I had a total of 5 liquid to matte lipsticks, and I currently have 6 in my collection. So technically, I went up 1 lipstick, but I actually used up and decluttered a couple lipsticks as well. Lipsticks that I have accumulated this year though are these 3. These 2 are from the Jeffree Star and Manny collaboration. This one is I'm Shook and this one is Daddy, and I also accumulated this Too Faced Melted Matte lipstick. It is a dark green called Wicked, and I am obsessed with using it. So these are all of my liquid to matte lipsticks. And these are all of my liquefied type lipsticks. These lipsticks don't really dry down all that much, which is why I just have them in their own little category. In the beginning of the year, I only had these 2 ColourPop Ultra Satin lips. This one is in the shade Femme, and this one is in the shade 0.0. But since then, I accumulated this Chartist lip paint from the Sephora birthday gift this year. This is in the shade Birthday Suit. So I enjoy all 3 of these, and I definitely am happy to have them in my collection. Even though I did go up 1 number since I had only these 2 in the beginning of the year, I don't mind having this one as a 3rd because it is such a small size. I also wanted to mention to you guys that according to my Excel sheet, I had 1 concealer in the beginning of the year, which was my CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous concealer. I had 1 setting spray, which was my NYX Matte Finishing Spray. I had a primer at the beginning of the year, which was my e.l.f. Hydrating Primer. Those 3 categories, I don't have any products in those categories. So the concealer, I had 1 at the beginning of the year. I don't have any now. I had 1 primer at the beginning of the year, and I don't have any now. And I had 1 setting spray at the beginning of the year, and I don't have any currently. So that is all of my numbers and all the products in my collection at the end of 2017, not including anything that I got during Christmas. That's going to be in the beginning of 2018. I'm going to show you everything that I got during the Christmas and holiday season. But that is it for this video, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed seeing how far I've come since the beginning of the year and how some categories went down while others went up a little bit. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please stay tuned to see where my collection stands as of the beginning of 2018. Until then, thank you so much for joining me today. Goodbye, guys.